GM of Joe Kirkendall here, GM of the Founding Fathers, along with head coach Kevin Albright, and fan favorite, the one, the only, Andrey Semenov. Andrey, the show is going to be about you, but before we jump in, we're going to do this kind of mean tweet style. When we announced the team last week, there were tons of tweets about you and why you aren't playing. So I'm just going to read them, and then you gotta respond to all these tweets right now. Andrey Semenov played for us for 16 years, and he's not on this team. What a joke. Team.
Can you post from this thing?
Next one, team needs Semenov. Next one, absolutely. Your intensity was unmatched. He was there for like 10 years. Next one, no Semenov. That's right. He still may have eligibility. And then finally, blah, blah, Matt Lewis, blah, blah, blah. Anybody who knows anything will tell you Semenov is the key to this year's team. So, Semi, are you still at JMU? And do the old
fan
jokes,
favorite, speak on it.
Get old?
Man, stop with the old jokes. I've only spent 6 years out there, and I'm not the only player, even in the conference, to ever spent 6 years at a school. I might be the only one to JMU. Actually, I don't know that stat, but yeah, 6 years is, that's a long time. But the thing is, okay, in my defense, if you guys remember AJ Davis, he's going to be on the squad, right?
On the squad, yeah.
Okay, he left after spending 5 years total in college, I believe 3 at JMU. He left at the age of 25. I left at the age of 24. So that's my defense, all right? I came in there at 18, the year I was supposed to come in. I left at 24. That's my defense. I don't have any response. I'm glad the guys still remember who I am. That's
yeah. I think they meant him in love, but
I appreciate it.
I think they meant him in love, and we were talking before too. It's kind of funny. Everyone wants to make the old jokes. You were there 6 years. You've been out 7 years now. You've been away from JMU longer than you were at JMU. But...
Oh yeah, yes, I have, and I don't really feel like it's been 7 years. It feels like about 2 to 3 years because I still remember the old place. I come to visit every summer except for this COVID summer. I've been there. Coach Lou Rowe was there when I would come and visit, and it felt like almost like being back at home. So it was lovely. It was lovely. It was 7 years.
And before we jump in,
it was a great 2 years having you on campus, and clearly you left a lasting relationship on the entire fan base because they're begging for you. And the whole team, I speak for the whole team, we're disappointed that we can't make it work to have you on the Founding Fathers. We'd love to have you play with us.
Well, those pick and pop threes and, shooting, playing some defense. And that's what I always bring. My game hasn't changed all that much, except I don't play the 4 anymore. I play the 3, which in Europe is the dumbest position now. You just stand in the corner with your hands like this, and you wait for it to get kicked out to you. Maybe you play, you shoot a 3, or you get a closeout. Maybe you get a layup or a mid-range jumper. And on defense, you got to guard everybody. And it's the one position that gets paid the least on the court, which is terrible. But oh well, that's how it is. I would love to play with the guys. I'm sure the chemistry would still be there with most of them, and it would have been lovely. I would have given Serb the run for his money. Dimitri, I would have kicked him off the squad. That's for damn sure. But but would have loved to be on the team.
On that note, get the fans an update on what you're doing in Russia, what team you're on, and how the season's going. And to fill your fans in, of course, we did invite Andrey. He was not forgotten. He was one of our first invites, but his pro season interferes with him playing in TBT. So fill the fans in on exactly what you're doing in Russia right now.
Yeah. Right. So the times of the TBT is when my preseason usually starts, late July, early August. And I've been playing pro for the last 7 years. It's been all in Russia. I spent a year in the very top league in Russia, but mostly I played in the second league. It's very hard to break into the top league because there's a lot of money in those teams, and there's no limit on how many Americans you can have. So they get really good guys, some of them older, really good European players. Some of them are former NBA players. So it's hard for a player like me with limited talent and athleticism to crack a team like that. So I play in the second league in Russia and have been for the last 7 years. And, there are some teams that we've been bad and I got buckets on, and some teams have been really good that I won a couple medals with. But it's, I don't want to say it's a very comfortable living, because there's nothing as comfortable as being a JMU student and JMU basketball player. There's the risks to it. Let's say you have a good year, you make a little more money next year, and you have a bad year, you make less money next year, and then you have 2 bad years in a row, you might be out of a job. So there is much security to being a professional basketball player in Russia. And now, I have to speak about this. Like, it's freaking cold out here. Goodness gracious, it's cold. Like, it's colder than I remember. Like, it's bad. Like, it's -5 degrees Fahrenheit today, and I had to walk to practice because the car that I have didn't start. All right, it's the kind of stuff I have to deal with, every now and again. Things you got to worry about. But since there's no school, you spend a lot more time taking care of your body and cooking for yourself, having good food, and relaxing totally. Sometimes we have 2 practices a day, sometimes we have 1, sometimes just days off. Like, I have a day off tomorrow, so I might have a couple of brewskis tomorrow. You might want to edit that out. But that's really it. It's just basketball, man. It's basketball all day, every day. And we like to say that we live in the summer. Like, we work in a fall, winter, and spring. We live in the summer. Summer is my 2 months off, and I get to travel. I get to go to the States. Man, I go to vacation to some European country, and I get to work on my game, get a little bit better, spend time with the family. That's when I live. So for a guy who chose a profession of living 2 to 3 months out of the year and then working 9 months, it doesn't sound so great. But I love basketball. I still do. I love it as much as I did when I was in school. So, I still feel good. So I guess I'm going to keep doing it.
Before Kevin asks the next question, you were talking about being the 3-man and sitting in the corner shooting. I don't know if it still is, but I always loved your Twitter bio. At one point it said, "I'll start dunking when a dunk is worth 3 points," or something like that.
God, I forgot about that. I'm going to, because I haven't been on Twitter for years, but Instagram is where it's at in Russia. So we kind of use Instagram, I guess, instead of Twitter. I'm going to change that in my Instagram. I'll dunk when I actually jump higher than I did in college now. Like, it's weird. I have a few dunks here and there, but I use it mostly for offensive rebound now. It's my big role. I have to get a couple offensive rebounds here and there, and there's been a couple putback dunks here and there. So it's weird to see from me, who was I was a surface dweller. I think I had a teammate, Paul Shatkus, on the team my last year, a Lithuanian guy, couldn't jump. And Coach Dean used to call him the hovercraft. He called him the hovercraft. That's kind of how I was too. I was a bit of a hovercraft. Now I jump a little bit. It's not like, my game is still worth 2 points. It's not worth 3. So shooting threes is more important. And now that with the analytics in the NBA, and those analytics are trickling down to us slowly. So there's a lot more teams in Europe shooting threes. It's not, obviously you don't have players like Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Damian Lillard who can just light it up from anywhere. We're not that great, but as team philosophy, is more threes than there were before.
Well, you said it best. There's no time like the time you spent playing at JMU and being a student there. I think we all can attest to that. I'm sure you play in some tough environments over there, but what's one thing that you miss about, now we're talking old Convo. They have the new arena now, but what's one thing that you miss about playing in the old Convo?
Playing in the old Convo. I remember those raggedy bleachers in the old Convo, and those things used to shake when the guys would jump around on them, and we had a good game against somebody like George Mason, who was still in the conference, VCU, Old Dominion, all those in-state rivals.
Now you're really showing
your bleachers. Yeah, and those bleachers used to shake. They used to shake when the guys would jump on them. And occasionally, we weren't as good at the time. We weren't on the level of those teams, so we didn't always win. But when we did, man, that place was loud. And it was so, I don't know what it was with the acoustics over there. But it didn't matter how many people were. Even if it was 2,000 people, it was still loud. It was weird. But then when it was 7, which is just, I think it was just over 7, the capacity was. Oh, it was rocking. It was rocking. Oh my God, yes, it did. I remember. Hey, you remember that game against George Mason when somebody threw a big hot dog on the court?
I was just about to ask.
Yeah.
Were you there for the hot dog game?
Yep.
I was on the bench. I was on the bench, and we lost all the momentum. So whoever you are, I hope you're having a miserable life. Whoever's through that hot dog, because we had the upper hand in that game. We really did, and then threw the hot dog, and they made the technical free throw, got the ball, probably got a bucket, and we lost that game. But man, I remember that it was a nice throw too. It was from top of the bleacher somewhere, read it smack dab in the middle. And I remember it was like slow motion. We're looking like, who was it? Who was it? And then, the security guy walked and he got the guy, and then they kind of walked him out of the convo, and everybody was booing. It was a great moment in history of the school. It just didn't work our way, you know what I mean? But it was funny. It's a hot dog throw. I to this day, I don't think I, and anybody else knows. I don't think we know who that was. But let that person be named in history. But we lost. If we won that game, we would have celebrated the shit out of that kid. But we lost, so it's just what it was.
So obviously you can't.
He probably wasn't even the reason we lost. We don't know. But we did get a technical foul out of it, and they made a free throw, so we can blame him.
As we already talked about, you won't be able to join the squad this year, but I think you played with all 5 of the JMU guys we have on the roster right now. So what do you remember about playing with those guys, and what you think what skill they still got to bring to the team this year, the tournament, our Founding Fathers team?
So from what I remember, there's Devon and AJ, Ron and Dimitri. Who was one more?
Andrey Nation.
Andre.
So obviously Devon, we called him Lil Wayne because he used to have dreads. And he looked like Lil Wayne. It looked exactly like Lil Wayne. Back then, Lil Wayne was the most popular rapper there was. 2008, 2009, is the time the Carter 3 came out. That's what was blasting in our dorm when we lived in the village back then, Hanson Hall. That's what was blasting all day, every day. So he was a great point guard, and he was really good at breaking down the defense. And he and I always played a pick and pop, and most of the times the man would switch on him and he would take him, or occasionally they wouldn't switch and I would shoot a 3, which was a really good offense for us. He's been playing in Germany, which is awesome. Good for him. I'm very happy. And then he brought AJ along with him, and AJ couldn't play for the first half of the year. This guy got every damn offensive rebound I remember. We played, he got every offensive rebound. He would just get a head start from damn near half court. He would just jump in there and either dunk it or just bring it down. He could really jump, and then he learned how to shoot 3 because that's what Cody teaches. He used to teach us how to shoot, and he was successful at that. AJ was great. And then he's just so talented, so good. And then all of a sudden, the 2013 CAA championship rolled around, the tournament, and he just flipped a switch. He was the best player. He averaged more than 20 points a game, and he's probably the main reason we won that tournament. I got a ring because of him. Ron Curry was very very talented. He was the next best thing. He was probably like Devon's replacement, and he always did great. And I watched him as soon as he left. Andre Nation would probably he was supposed to break all my records because I only have longevity records. He was supposed to break all my records because he was a much better all-around player than I ever was, more talented. I just had a whole lot more games than he did. Dimitri, is like a little brother to me.
A little brother.
He and it's a little brother to me. Me and Dean Swindle, we are the reason he came to school because he was our recruit on his recruiting visit, and he committed at like 3 a.m. on his visit. Remember, I was like, I'm coming. I'm definitely coming. I'll see you guys next year. This is awesome. I love life. So it was great. Yeah. So those are the guys, and I wish I got to play with them.
Yeah, we like our
What else we got?
squad. We represent JMU well. We know you would do the same. But yeah, we're hoping to make a run at the tournament this year, and we're hoping to keep this thing going for years to come. So if we can kind of keep recruiting some alumni, we think we could really put together a powerful squad.
Yeah, that would have been amazing. That would have been amazing. I'm definitely going to watch it. I'm going to watch it when I'm out in preseason over the summer. So
When you're
I'll
living life.
enjoy it.
You're not living life.
I know people in Russia, like they're basketball fans, obviously, but they watch that tournament. They know that tournament, and when I reposted the founding fathers being one of the contestants, they were like, "Oh my God, I watched that tournament. Are you going to be in it?" I'm like, "Well, unfortunately, I can't, but it would have been great. Would have watched you on no watched not on TV, but on the internet. Watched it on the internet. It was great." Plus the $2 million. I mean, you can't beat that. Everybody wants to play for that.
Everyone wants that bread. So, well, good stuff. Appreciate you joining us today, Andrey. As always, good to catch up. And I know the JMU fans will appreciate this. And hopefully, if not this year, you can join the team next year. So thank you for your time. Go Dukes.
Hey, anytime. Go Dukes, baby. So my favorite Jimmy basketball story. It's a short one. It's one of the things a coach said that just stuck through my mind. I still remember it. It was a year 11-12, a year before we won a conference championship. We struggled with a lot of injuries. I think it was the year that Coach Brady tore his Achilles practicing with us. That was that year. But before he did that, we played William and Mary, and William and Mary always gave us a tough time because they never really got good basketball players, but they got players who played really good in that Princeton offense system, got a lot of backdoor cuts, a lot of three-point shots. They were really disciplined and organized, and that gave us a lot of trouble. But that year they were terrible. They didn't win barely any games, and it was Coach Corey Stitzel's scout. And this guy, he's gonna have to forgive me for saying all that stuff, but he was a little bit hunched over. He's just with the little grin, and he was always like half laughing, half making fun of us. He was a great recruiter, great coach too, but he was great. And he was like, I've been watching their games, and you know what? They believe they're only gonna win 2 games on the left on their schedule, and that's you twice. I was like, why did that stupid saying ever just get stuck in my they're gonna believe they're gonna win only 2 games left in their schedule. That's you twice. I'm like, okay, all right. And then they did beat us twice. I think they did beat us twice.
Hey, William Mary did always.
William and Mary, you had some battles with Tim Rustoven. You and Rustoven used to battle in those matchups.